if a major can sound casual, feel casual, the U.S. Open at LACC certainly accomplished that. And I'm not going to blame this on the Los Angeles part of this, the Los Angeles crowds. The USGA decided they wanted to limit the number of spectators that were going to be there at LA Country Club. And it felt casual. It lacked the atmosphere. You know, the previous year in Massachusetts, that had atmosphere there. And you did have a wonderful tournament, and that is a spectacular golf course. But I think the Los Angeles Country Club and the USGA probably purposely wanted to keep those crowds down to 20,000 as opposed to 40,000. And watching the atmosphere or lack thereof, I think the largest or the loudest ovation I heard when Matthew Fitzpatrick had a hole-in-one earlier in the week. That was about it. And then heading down the stretch, you had some great moments. It was really tense, and Wyndham Clark holds off Rory McIlroy to win the U.S. Open in Los Angeles. And, you know, we know how challenging golf can be. If you're a great player, you might win 15% of the time. Rory McIlroy has now gone 33 consecutive majors without winning another major. He won 4 before the age of 25. But he's still there. He's trending towards winning another major. And you watch him play, and I think you're surprised, at least I am, that he doesn't win more often. Nobody hits it farther than him. It feels like he has the most talent out there. But golf is so much between your ears. These guys all have talent. We know that. And then you start from there. How much talent you have, pretty much you got a lot of guys who not hit it as far, but they may be better with their short game or putting or whatever it is. You kind of fill in the gray areas that you need there. Wyndham Clark did not back down at all. Went toe-to-toe. Best players in the world. And he was the better golfer from start to finish. But it almost felt like it was Rory being the story. And, oh, by the way, this Wyndham Clark guy's ruining it for us. Come on, what are you doing here? It's Father's Day weekend. You know, Rory's going to win, or Ricky Fowler's going to win. How dare you ruin Father's Day weekend? And he didn't. He hit every great shot that you want a player, a champion to do. And that's what you want in these moments. I didn't want him to falter so Ricky could win or Rory could win. Those are great storylines, easily consumable, and you can spend a couple of days talking about that. Wyndham Clark proved that he had exactly what Rory or Ricky or John Rahm or Scotty any of those golfers have. And he proved it on a biggest stage. And not many people know about him. He was at Oklahoma State, then he went to Oregon, and he won a couple of weeks ago, Wells Fargo. And you know what's interesting is, and they pointed this out on the broadcast, that when Rory won the U.S. Open the first time, he won at Wells Fargo, and then a couple of weeks later, he won the U.S. Open. So maybe big things are ahead for Wyndham Clark. All right, Seton, what's the poll question we have today?
Let's see, Dan, we could go with, this is a hot topic on social media. The name Wyndham Clark sounds like a ... hotel chain, a law firm, a consulting group.
Oh.
Okay.
Wyndham Clark will figure that out. Or an investment bank. You could put your money with Wyndham Clark.
Okay.
What's the return?
I think I would change the spelling to W-I-N.
Win.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All
There you
right.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on that one. I thought Dan Hicks might give that one to us, at the end of the U.S. Open. Maybe that's why I'm not doing U.S. Open coverage for NBC. Okay. Fair enough. Yes, Paul.
It does seem like if you name your child Wyndham Clark, he's destined to be a golfer. It's almost like territorial rights. Like, man, that's a golfer in sounding name. Like Charles, what was it? Charles Howell III?
Charles Howell Jr. III.
Yeah, destined to golf.
Wyndham Clark, maybe a little bit of a lacrosse vibe.
Yeah,
too.
could be.
You could see him
Oh, yeah.
dominating lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. You seen that Wyndham Clark guy at North Carolina? He is a great lacrosse player. Yes, Todd?
It's desperately in need of a Roman numeral after it. It just seems like that we're forgetting something.
Like 4? Like Wyndham Clark?
You can't just be Wyndham Clark. You have to have been second, third, fourth, fifth in line.
All right.
We have, on Sunday, I was rooting for Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler, or Rory McIlroy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I hope people were rooting for Wyndham Clark before it was, too late, where you're like, oh, God, I guess this guy's going to win.
I have a hard time not rooting for Rory. I have a very hard time not rooting for him. I don't know if it's the Irish thing. I don't know if it's because he was nice. I want the guy to win for some reason.
He's one of the nicest people I think we've ever had on set.
Yeah.
And he does give you an answer. He does think about, when you ask him a question, whether he's heard it 5 times or 500 times, he does give you a thought-provoking answer. And I always appreciate that. Ricky was sort of, remember Andre Agassi? It was always style over substance. And then all of a sudden it became substance. It was about his hair, and he had these commercials. And, Andre Agassi was a big thing, and then he became a great tennis player. Ricky Fowler was a thing. Now, he's a very good golfer. He just hasn't won majors. So he was sort of a boy band type of golfer. Like, you got to see Ricky, and he's got flair. He wears the orange on Sunday, for Oklahoma State. Got the hair, the whole thing. And so there's part of you that you're like, okay, and he struggled the last couple of years. So you're rooting for that kind of story. Rory has everything you would ever want. But I do think with the Live PGA Tour situation, he was the spokesperson for the PGA Tour. It felt like he was the one that was doing the heavy lifting for the tour. But Rory became the face of the PGA Tour this year. And I think there's part of the crowd that was probably rooting for that. But Wyndham Clark, that's a great story. Dropped out of school at Oklahoma State. His mother died of breast cancer. He really struggled, I think, figuring out who he was, what he wanted to do, and if he could be a great player. And then mentally, I think that's what he worked on. He's become a very, very good player. But it's rare when you make the cut and then you go on. The first time he made a cut in a major, he ends up winning the U.S. Open. That doesn't happen very often. And I was rooting for that course because they made it look easy. And whenever I came back from playing it, I'd be like, damn, that thing just ate me up. So you're watching them chew it up. And granted, they're professionals, and I'm some hack. But there's part of you that's like, gosh, can't they double bogey something? Can't they hit something out of bounds? Can't they lose a ball? All the things that we do. But it's still great to see that course. It doesn't set up for large groups of spectators. It just doesn't. They didn't have the infrastructure there to make it, sort of a sightseeing venture. It's tight. That's real estate in Los Angeles. But, trying to be able to see, have vantage points there, it was difficult, I think. And then they're going to give the members their, the passes, the tickets to be able to go to it. So I think like 9,000 seats or tickets were available for regular fans. Well, we want regular fans to be there. I know the members, it's their club, but you want an atmosphere. You want the atmosphere from the regular people who are going to go there. And that's what we missed this past weekend. Yes, Eden.
We could put that up as a poll question, too. Did a smaller, quieter gallery affect, how much you enjoyed the U.S. Open?
It didn't until there were big moments, and then you're waiting for the sound of a big moment, and it never came. And I kept thinking, wait, where's everybody? And that's where I would have, kind of turned up the volume a little bit. I would have played with the decibel levels as if I'm at a Colts home game, and they're, trying to ramp up the crowd noise in there. CBS was accused of putting birds in there a few years ago at Augusta. I would have thrown in some. Did you hear the birds at the Playboy Mansion? The exotic birds now it's under construction, but I don't know who's tending those peacocks that are there. Whatever birds they've got, but I could hear that and be like, caw, caw. I'm going, yeah, I played that hole before. I remember hearing that, caw, caw. Yeah, Paul.
This is L.A., though. They should have got some seat fillers, like it's an Oscars event. They needed people out there. They needed a couple of dudes with hats on backwards. They need some bros saying, get in the hole.
Well, you had a few of those.
I missed those. I missed the bros.
No, I didn't. I never missed the get in the hole, bro.
I don't
Those frisbees flying around.
Yeah. Beach ball up in the air. But no, there wasn't. It just didn't have the atmosphere that you would hope that you would have. Certainly in Los Angeles. And at a great golf course. Yes.
Is that a problem, though? I mean, like, seriously, for the PGA, that the U.S. Open was kind of a, it feels like the wrong time to have a less than stellar major.
Yeah, I would think you want to celebrate the PGA Tour, and this is a big moment. And if this merger is supposed to be great, like you want to celebrate the game of golf. I don't know if LA was able to do that.
And that's because of the venue then.
Yeah, well, the venue and the USGA. I don't know what came first. If the country club said, "Hey, look, we don't want people trampling all over the place here," this is a very private, golf course. This is why they haven't had an event there for, 70 years. But I would have wanted atmosphere to celebrate the game of golf. And you had big names on the leaderboard as well. Yes, Paulie.
U.S. Open at Pinehurst next year. We'll be back to full speed ahead, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Do you want to play the Wyndham Clark salary game before and after game?
Well, I know what he won yesterday.
Right. And then he got the Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Which is some nice dough.
So, career salary game.
We're going to do before this month, since this month started.
Okay.
He's been on tour basically since late 2017.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Paul.
Yeah, let it play.
All righty. Wyndham Clark made $3.5 million yesterday. What did he make at Wells Fargo?
Can't give you that.
Oh, you can't.
Before this month, and those 2 wins, he's never won on tour before in any fashion.
Okay.
So from 2017 to 2022, what did Wyndham Clark make? Let's go around the room quickly.
Todd.
I'm going to say 1.35 mil.
All right. Seton O'Connor.
$1.2 million.
Marvin.
2.4 million.
All right.
He actually did pretty well. He made $4.9 million.
All right.
He never, yeah.
I was going to say 4.9 million.
There you go.
There you go.
See?
Yeah.
Every year was like 1.2, 1.2. Nice scratch.
Mm-hmm.
This month he's made $6.5 million.
That's good.
There you go.
All right. Let's hear it for Wyndham.
All right, Wyndham.
Wyndham Clark Jr. the third.
Paying dividends.
Yeah.
Wyndham Clark.
Hit the 8-digit club.
Yeah, I like it. All
Well
right.
done, lad.
Yeah, congratulations.